Hey BOMA Nashville, thanks for joining us again here at Good to Know. I'm Shell Kirk with Transwestern, and today we're going to be talking to Christine about tenant improvement projects, or TIs. Hi, I'm Christine Rachelle. I'm with Commercial Industrial Construction, also known as CIC. And we are a commercial general contractor, and we specialize in interior finishes, especially tenant improvement projects. So I'm here to talk to you about what to expect from the moment that you award that contract. In case they haven't, your contractor can also submit those plans to permitting. Right now, Metro is running 6 to 8 weeks on permits, but Metro Water has been running as long as 2 to 3 months on getting the cross-connect sign-off. Your cross-connect is your backflow prevention inspection. So even though your property may be up to date on that inspection, until Metro signs off on that cross-connect, you cannot get your final permit. However, in the meantime, you can be working on a few different things. You can get a demo permit, which allows you to demo the space. The demo permit is issued much faster, and it allows you to get as much as the framing started. However, you cannot go any further than framing without an inspection, so we don't recommend doing that at a common area space where if the permit is delayed, you might be left with a space in complete disarray for weeks at a time. Other things you can do while you're waiting for the permit is to get the millwork shop drawings approved and get your tenant and your architect to finalize any changes they might want to make to your finishes or to the scope of work. Your contractor will be able to provide you with an estimated schedule for your job, which will vary depending on a few things and can be affected by not only permitting, but also by your inspections, by changes by the tenant or the architect, by manufacturing delays, subcontractor delays, mistakes on the job, or surprises, such as finding a leak above the ceiling that you didn't know was there. The most common thing that causes delays in the schedule is changes after the construction has started by the tenant or by the architect. We highly encourage you to establish a final date for making changes that will not affect the schedule, so that if they change something that has been ordered already, it doesn't delay occupancy. If your rent collection is dependent upon substantial completion, any delays in the construction schedule will also delay your rent timeline. In addition to affecting the schedule, changes will also result in change orders, which can affect the cost of the job and add to the cost of the job. We also encourage you to identify who is going to be the final decision maker, whether it's the tenant or somebody who works for the tenant, and how long those decisions will take. When you have long lead time items, make sure to get those ordered early so that when your contractor is ready to start the job, those items are in place or they're nearly here. The last thing you want is your contractor to have to stop the job because you don't have what you need. Once you get your final permit in hand, space prep will include a variety of things, including covering your alarm sensors, possibly putting your alarms on test, covering your ventilation systems in the suite, and sealing off doorways and hallways to prevent dust from escaping. You may also cover your existing flooring that isn't being changed with RAM board or plastic to protect that. If you have glass in your suite facing a common area, you may want to cover that with paper. You'll also want to cover the interiors of your elevators and have a place for your dumpster to be set. Other things to consider are access for your GC and your subcontractors, where they're going to park, and if they need security key fobs or any other similar security access. You'll want to tell your tenants that are adjacent to the suite or above and below the suite about the construction schedule. Noisy items such as saw cutting or core drilling, those can happen before or after regular business hours. After demo is complete, the order will vary depending on the scope, but it generally begins with laying out the framing, which are aluminum studs that hold up the drywall. You'll also have above the ceiling work and anything that goes inside the walls. You may have x-rays for the floors for core drilling, which is when you drill holes for electrical or plumbing or anything that needs to penetrate the floor, and you don't want that to penetrate something that's above the ceiling in the space below. So if there's a concrete floor, you may need to drill in to run wiring or run plumbing. Above the ceiling, you'll have an HVAC rough-in, an electrical rough-in, and a low voltage rough-in. Low voltage wiring is that wiring that goes for your alarm system, your phones, your cable, and your internet. In the walls, you'll also have electrical wiring and low voltage wiring, and then you'll also have a plumbing rough-in. All of these things have to be inspected before the contractor can move any further. They will call in an inspection, and that is dependent upon the inspector's schedule. So there may be a little delay there. The inspections include that HVAC and electrical and plumbing, as well as an above ceiling inspection. There's also a framing inspection. At Metro, they prefer to do the framing inspection after all of the other inspections are complete, but other cities, it doesn't really matter when that happens. Once those are in place, then you can move forward, and that's when the job starts to take off. We'll start putting in the ceiling grid and the ceiling tiles and the lights, putting in doors and frames, and hanging the drywall. If you're using rolled good for carpeting, that will be put in after a coat of primer is put on the drywall, but it won't be put on before any of the other wall finishes because you don't want to damage the wall finishes. However, other flooring can be installed after the wall finishes. Flooring finishes include carpet tiles, LVT, which is luxury vinyl tile, which actually comes in planks and looks a lot like wood, except it's a lot more durable for common areas in commercial projects. You can also have VCT, which is vinyl tile, and that looks like the square tiles you would have like in a hospital corridor. You can also have ceramic tile as well. Around the edge of the wall, where the tile meets the wall, you will have a wall base of rubber or of wood. You'll also have a variety of ceiling tile options, including flat tiles or tagular ceiling tiles, which have a step in them and hang just below the ceiling grid to offer some dimension. At this point, you'll also have your plumbing installed, including sinks, water fountains, and toilets, and your millwork will be installed. Millwork can be wood or it can be a laminate finish. And countertops can be laminate or they can be solid surface like Corian, quartz, or marble. Your appliances should be arriving at this point and construction is nearing the end. As you near the end of completion, you're going to want to gather together who's going to be walking the final walkthrough for your punch list. This is considered substantial completion. You might have an architect, you might have the tenant walk along, and property managers sometimes join for the punch list walkthrough and some don't. This is when you're going to identify if there have been any errors made, if something's missing, what hasn't been completed yet, if there's scratches in the paint, anything that needs to be corrected. You want to make note of who's responsible for each repair or each item that's missing and have a due date for when that's going to be done. This will also be the time for final inspections. They'll come back again for a final electrical, final HVAC, final plumbing, and the fire marshal will come out and do a life safety walkthrough to make sure you have emergency lighting and your egress is clear. The city of Franklin prefers to have furniture in the space before they'll do your life safety walkthrough. Once you've passed all of your final inspections, then they will offer that use and occupancy certificate. Your use and occupancy, or CO, certificate of occupancy, is a certificate that says the city has come in, they've inspected the property, and they've given you a green light for your tenants to move in. It's good to know that if you need a use and occupancy certificate for your tenants in your building, even if they don't do any construction and take the space as is, you will need a permit. Keep this in mind when your tenant is moving in. It's a lot easier to get a permit before they've moved in. Also, any furniture damage that comes if they damage the walls or do any damaging to carpet or finishes, that's usually not considered part of a punch list item, and that may incur extra cost after the fact. Once you're all complete, you'll have some closeout documents, including your permit numbers, your use and occupancy certificate, which the contractor might hold onto until they get that final payment. You'll also have your final set of plans, which we highly encourage you to keep on site with the building. You'll also have information on warranties on any of the equipment, like the HVAC equipment or any appliances, and information about the subcontractors and their contact information. Also, CIC offers a 1-year warranty on all of our work, excluding wear and tear. If you have any questions during the process or are concerned about something or need to understand something, definitely ask your contractor. They want to have a good relationship with you because they want to be invited back.
A big thanks to Christine Rachelle with CIC for that phenomenal information. Join us next time to learn something else. Good to know.